All right, welcome to the 2218 Attitude for Gratitude. We're going to see if this works now because I finally got this thing working.
Yep.
This is Elena, and we are here on a beautiful Friday night because the weather is amazing outside.
So good.
So good. And I am here with my buddy over there.
Guest host. Guest host. The Godfather himself.
Is that what you call yourself?
No, I don't. I'm just kidding.
The Godfather himself.
No, I'm just kidding. Absolutely kidding. I'm not a godfather. I'm not even father, as a matter of fact.
Yes, you are. You have Junior.
Yeah, I do. I do have Junior
And Serenity.
and Serenity,
Well,
but I co-parent Serenity.
I might steal Serenity.
You can't do that. I'll do
Starting off strong, huh?
it. Yeah, I'm sorry.
And we have two guests tonight. Who are our guests tonight? You want to introduce
Hello.
yourselves?
Jerome R. What's happening, guys? I've been on this podcast in a long time, actually. Kind of excited.
I'm Ken S. Yeah, welcome to the show, guys. Coolest show on earth.
This is the coolest show on
So
earth.
cool.
So we have to kind of do what Tim and Tad do. So just so everybody knows, Tim and Tad are not here tonight. But that's okay because, like they say, the show must go on. We don't need them. Okay, I might need them. We don't need them. We don't need them. They need to go out and do what they need to do for their self-care that they need. So
Exactly.
Tim's gonna pipe in a manicure.
I think he is. I think he is.
Yeah, and what is Tad doing his hair, right?
Tad's
Lashes. He's doing his lashes.
he's
His
doing his
lashes. It was
lashes,
his lashes,
and I
guys.
heard that he's waxing his back.
Oh, okay, yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Self-care.
I know. I know.
That is neat. Yeah.
So we do have to kind of do what Tim does, and we have to plug 2218. So Tim always plugs the Gratitude Cafe
Every Friday,
for $5.
$5.
You get a plate of food, and it's not just a little plate of food, it's a big plate of food. And they always say that it's the best food ever. And you get food, you get vegetables, you get lots of sweets, you get dessert, you get drinks, and you got to come and get it when it's there because they run out of food.
Yeah, I actually had some cake and ice cream today. It was
Cake and ice cream?
cake and ice cream. Big old big old ice cream. I love it.
Sounds really cool.
Starting off strong. I love it.
Oh my gosh. There's also a lot of other fun things that they do up here. You can go to 2218 alano.org and you can find out different information about the club up here. You can also come up here and you can meet different people and there's lots of fellowship. There's amazing people up here at this Alano. You never know who you're going to meet and who you're going to run into. So, I don't know, we can...
Chop it up? Is that what we're
Yeah,
Put it up,
I
put
think
it in?
I
Looks
think
like
we
it.
should just chop it up and we should get started. We
That
should,
is amazing that you remembered all that because I probably would have spaced that.
you know what? I have to listen to these guys every week. I'm not complaining. I really enjoy it, but I
I
think
do.
I could probably recite everything that they say.
Because I definitely couldn't. I forget what I say right after I say it.
Same.
What happened? Where are we going? That's right, I'm lying. Whoops. Sorry, that's makes life fun, you know? That makes life fun, you know? If I forgot what I did, then everything's new, right? You know?
Yeah. That's
Always
not how
look
that
for
works.
positive, man.
Oh, so do you guys have anything that you wanted to bring and talk about tonight?
I got my 18 months last week.
Woo!
Yeah. It's not a year and 8 months. Don't let
It's
them say
not
that
a
to you.
year and 8 months.
Oh, man. So people get bent out of shape about that. It's great.
No, it's
I
fun.
know it's not a year and 8 months.
No, I know. I don't know if you do know.
It's great.
No, I love 2218, man. I started most of my recovery here, man. Yeah. Started at New Way down the street. I came here. I kind of like plopped on the doorstep and seen Tad. Can you guys actually hear me?
Hold on. I don't know. Matt, who can you not hear? Let us know so that way we can
It's probably
fix
not
it.
me.
You've been talking the most, but I can't hear now.
Oof. Mic check.
Like I can hear Jerome.
Yeah. Sweet.
You hear me?
Only Elena and Jerome. So you guys couldn't hear Rob?
No.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's a bummer. I don't know, maybe now. I don't think you can hear me
Here,
now.
anyone else? There's 4 people that are supposed to be talking.
No.
No, I can't. No, can't hear.
Well, what in the barnacles is going on? I'm the only one talking.
No, jeez.
Oh, jeez.
No, jeez.
Mess with your cord in front of you, you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Try shutting. We got Matt helping me from outside of this place. He's my buddy.
Hello. Yeah, no, we got nothing booked.
All right, don't move, everybody. We'll be right back. Don't move.
Stick with us.
Okay, can you guys hear anything? I can't flip and hear anything. Oh, okay. Can anybody hear Rob?
I don't think you can hear me.
What is going on?
Yeah, you can't hear me.
Can anybody hear Rob?
You don't hear anyone else. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Let's see. I hear you.
Mr. Sean says no Rob.
It's all hooked up. It's just I don't try unplugging the thing in the back of your mic.
This?
Yep, and then plug it back in. We'll be right back, everybody.
How about now?
Supposed to look like this?
Right back, everybody.
What is this all about? Why is it all fucked up?
Can you hear anything now?
Rob, start talking.
Well, I hear you.
You can hear me?
I hear you.
All right,
Yeah,
let's.
that's through the headphone.
Well, let's see if everybody else can hear you now.
Right.
All right, let's get some replies from our audience and make sure that everybody can hear us, so that way we know what's going on.
We just reintroduce.
Make sure that everybody can hear us, so that way we know what's going on. All right, and then let's turn the volume down on our phones now. All right, so for anybody that just might have tuned in, still the same. Matt, you need to be up here.
Yep. Working out.
Is it just the
Still the same.
output?
Really hear Elena? Is that-
Oh, wait.
No, everything, it's good. All we can do is see if anything works.
Straight up. Is it back live?
It's back live. We're going to see what happens and we're going to go from there. This is where sometimes we get technical difficulties and sometimes we don't. But it happens.
So is can you hear anybody other than Elena?
Sometimes we get technical difficulties. But it's something we're going to work through. We're going to figure this out. We have another microphone too that we can use on the side.
That one?
That one, the handheld. And it's something we're going to work through. We're going to figure this out. We have another microphone too that we can use on the side. That one, the handheld.
Same answer.
Yeah, for some Ken and Rob. Yeah, for some. So we're gonna keep working on this, and I'm gonna have Jerome talk about a topic for a few minutes here while I start working on this, so that way we can get going. So Jerome, what would you like to talk about?
Yeah. What am I going to talk about? I guess I was talking about my 18 months, right? Like I said, my name is Jerome. I am an addict. I just celebrated 18 months about last week, actually, last Friday. I'm super excited for it. It's been a long journey, guys. I actually started in treatment down the street from 2218, and when I first started to get in recovery, I lost everything. I lost my apartment. Like, I think I was getting kicked out of my apartment last the end of the month. I literally just lost my job on the 7th too, and I was like broken, The one thing I do like about one of the fellowships is that I had someone reach out to me and it's just like, hey, do you want to change, and I'm really grateful for that, because at that point I really didn't know what to actually do. I was pretty lost. It's definitely a recovery, maybe, I guess. I started in COVID and did the treatment. but I knew that wasn't going to be enough. I knew that wasn't going to be the only thing that I can do to keep on maintaining. Um, so I started volunteering here at 2218. I kind of plopped up on the doorstep, and the first person I ran into was Tad. Actually, Tad was the one that this is like, hey, like they said I gotta do the volunteer work, so here I am. So I started coming here every day for about volunteering, cleaning up. I help somebody wax the floors here. Just trying to keep myself busy and trying to work a new way of life. Um, which coming from like I came from like a nightclub background too, so like I was used to kind of the chaos and like the fast moving pace. A lot of yeah, fast money, man. The money goes as fast as it comes. if you didn't know.
Right back where it came from.
Yep. Yeah, seriously. Um, but I just kind of learned how to be still for once in my life, and that was something at that point. Like for me, that was the hardest thing. Was just to be still. If I didn't know how to I guess like the whole like I guess where say I'm not much of a people person, but I'm kind of a black sheep, guys. So I'm glad I have some people that do understand that. A little bit, actually, just a little bit. I actually just see my brother and sister not like literally like 20 minutes ago for the first time in like 3 years. So, it's and I think that's what kept me sick for so long is because like I was because I always wanted to be belong to a group if anything else, and I always put on like different masks, man. Like that was my thing. But like at the end of the day, like I remember like going back home and it's just like, man, I really don't belong to anything. Um, so thanks to the fellowship that I'm in, they help me be part of something that's a little bit bigger than me. I can't just rely um, it's like, hey, like I know I can't get hurt if I'm just by myself, but in reality, I can. I can do as much damage too. Um,
I can hear, but I don't know if anyone else can hear me.
but yeah, but yeah, no, it's been a long journey though. Um,
Yeah, but we can all hear each other on the.
I don't know. Can you guys hear Rob? Can you give him a test?
Can anybody hear me? Oh, wait. There's nothing there. Okay. Hello. I don't know.
No,
Nobody can hear me.
I'm so.
Oh yeah, we're still kind of working through the sub stuff, guys. If you have any questions, no, it's all good. I appreciate you guys popping in. We're just kind of working through the static. So, what we got? What do we got? But yeah, no, it's been a great one. I'm really excited for some of the events that we have going on right now. I just want to be I just want to keep on maintaining what I have in order to keep on going the right path because if I kind of falter from that, I'll definitely
Hey, I
fail.
can't get the microphones to work for 3 people.
Yeah, but we're getting there slowly. Sorry, I'm not much of a talker. I'm just
Yeah, like,
rattling
they're
on.
trying to work, but they're just not working for the microphone.
Hey, Robbie, you want to pop over here and talk? Yeah, we're just gonna switch over. How about that?
There we go. All right. All right. Yeah.
Oh, wait, before we do that, actually, click on it, let's take a look at what the input.
All right. So.
They're what they're supposed to be.
Not that any of the other numbers.
We're only running on one side. We don't know what's going on. We have everything plugged in. But it just doesn't seem to be working out. So the deal is that like I'm kind of a guest host tonight, so you can only hear us hosts, I guess. We're doing musical chairs. We're doing musical chairs until we get the technical difficulties figured out. I want to say congratulations to Jerome on a year and 8 months. A year and 8 months. You know. Over there on the dry phone. We'll call that the dry phone. That's great. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And that's like one of the cool things about like the program is you watch people come in and then you watch like who they become. And you know I've been around to watch Jerome and you know we've grown together, man. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? And it's like you got the wheel, and you know we share some of the similar interests in driving ourselves wild with the obsession and compulsion that our disease happens to allow us to partake
Turn up my
in.
volume on my phone.
Oh, now we're trying to get Ken to talk to see if we can hear him.
All right. Yeah, now it says I can hear me, I think. Yeah, it's coming across my phone now.
So we got just him. So we got to test out the other one now.
I don't care about yours. I don't care about yours.
Maybe you should walk back to this side round.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Can you hear me over there, Jerome?
So you really can't hear him?
It's what? Oh, well now we gotta turn off. the phone.
So is it? Can you hear me now, Jerome?
I think so.
Okay, now this is where we realize that the struggle is real, and sometimes things go wrong. So now that everything is fixed and all of the technical difficulties are out of the way, we have plenty of time to complete this wonderful recovery podcast that we are here to do. Because we seem to always have a little bit technical difficulties. It happens.
Technical difficulty in a podcast and life and everything.
A lot of fuckery.
Yeah.
Got two mics over here.
Keep going, Rob. Finish your little story that you were telling.
I forgot what I was doing. Remember? You know what I mean?
So maybe turn that off. He said maybe it's not. It's echoing because of the handheld. It's too close.
Okay, yeah. So that one's off. So can you hear me? Yeah. Hello. Testing. Hello. Testing. No, you cannot hear me. Oh. Okay, so you can hear him, but not me. Littering and. No.
So is it echoing? You said.
You guys, you have to keep talking.
Okay.
A live
Yeah.
podcast. So keep talking.
Well, you know, Rob, that you were talking about with Jerome there, some of the stuff he's got going on there. I just, you know, I've met you before, but we're just now talking for the first time. Didn't you have some pretty cool stuff happen this week?
Absolutely.
That'd be probably pretty cool for the podcast to hear that.
Yeah. But can they hear me?
They can hear us, but they're hearing us double. So they're hearing an echo. Is what it is. And so they're kind of hearing an echo, and that might be annoying, but whatever. They can turn the volume down, I suppose. Which they probably do anyways. Let's face
So
it.
can they?
Jerome says that it can be heard, but it's an echo. So that's what Jerome.
So like basically, they can hear me from that microphone, or they can hear me from that microphone.
Yeah, whatever you're saying, it's like they're getting the feedback of an echo again. So
Well, that sucks.
yeah.
And then we got Jerome over there.
He's trying to make sure the adjustments work. Right?
Yeah, I love
He's
it.
not even. He's
Yeah, I
not
love
even
it.
involved. He had the first 15 minutes of talking, so now you got to go for 15 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
And go.
Yeah, but it's just an echo, though. You know what I mean? Like, if gonna spit hot fire, I'm gonna need it to be 100% pure, okay?
You get to come out the right the first time.
Dialing. That's great. Wait, what are we doing again? I think Jerome's just sitting over there. He wants to deny all responsibility. I had to do it. That's great. And Lane is just getting hot over there. Yeah, I get it. I hate technical stuff. I can't even fucking say it.
Technical?
Technical. It's been a long week, man. It's been a long week. I'll tell you what. This just goes to show that it's gonna be an even longer week. So.
Yeah, well.
We can only do what we can.
Yeah, the week doesn't have to be long. It's fine. It's almost over. Can't hurt you no more.
It sounds like they can hear me. Yeah, from the sound of it, they can hear me, right?
Yeah, just coming across, like I said, as an echo. They can hear you, but it sounds like an echo.
Weird. Technical. Say it with me now. Technical difficulties. That's great. Oh yeah, what do we know, man? It's Friday. It's been really hot.
Yeah, it's been nice. It's been nice that the humidity's kind of seemed like it's breaking.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's been better the last couple of days, but Jesus, it's been hot. You know what I mean? And I sure noticed that, like, as I'm aging, the heat matters so much more.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right,
when I was a
right,
kid,
right.
I still love the heat, but just not nearly as much. Like, when I'm working out in it, I'm just pouring sweat.
Yep.
I used to love it.
Yeah.
I used to love it. You know, now I'm just like, oh, I still like it, but it depends on what I'm doing. Like, if the job is real stressful, then I don't like it at all.
Right,
You know, that's
exactly.
just
Yeah.
one more thing I can get upset about.
I think I like the heat now, but I like to be by water or with a boat or something like. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like being on my bike.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So what do you have for a bike?
2005 Harley Davidson Softail Nitrate.
Nice.
Yeah, that's my baby.
Yeah.
Shout out to Josh. Gave me a good deal. Love you, bro. Yeah, it's definitely been like therapy. You know what I mean? Like, I've got so many forms of therapy now. It's great. You know, I got ink therapy, I got wind therapy, I got iron therapy, I got actual therapy. You know what I mean? There's so many things I can do to escape that like aren't substances now.
Right.
You know, and that's all possible because of recovery. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, there's no way that I would do the things that I'm doing. You know what I mean? Or like be able to even buy a bike.
Right.
Or even have a license to get an endorsement to get a bike.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, you might have a bike, but you wouldn't have, it wouldn't be legally, right?
Yeah, or to know somebody that's going to give me, hook me up. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like,
exactly.
And not try to bend me over. You know what I mean? Like, I've got like true solid friends that like, help a brother out. You know?
Yeah.
And that's great. You know, sometimes it takes time for karma to come back around. And I don't.
Isn't that cool how now like calm can suddenly be like where we used to be chaotic,
Yeah.
and now calm is just it's soothing. It's like it's all right to be calm now. Like it doesn't need to be so chaotic every day.
Right. Like I said, like karma came back around. It's been a good year. It's been a really good year. I was thinking about that. Like I was telling you guys, I set some goals for myself and I've achieved all of them. And the year's only 3/4 over, so I still got a quarter of the year left. So I achieved my goals and I did it in a matter of time that was sooner than I gave myself.
That's cool.
To do that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that is awesome. That's awesome. I don't know. I've been traveling a lot this year, man. I've been to a lot of states, man. I've been to, obviously Minnesota, North Dakota, Montana, Idaho, Washington, California, Las Vegas, Nevada, Indiana, Iowa, drove through Illinois. Yeah, so I've been all over the place.
That's awesome.
I've done a lot of cool things this year that, like, I think that, like, I really needed it. I really needed it. I really needed it. A couple of years prior to that were real. It took took a toll on me. It took a really big toll on me, man. And I think that, like, you know, just seeing a different, you know, seeing some different things has been a blessing, most definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jerome, why you always gotta be breaking stuff, bro? I mean, seriously. First you want to deny all responsibility, and walk away from the podcast, and now you're just tipping over chairs. That's all it really is, just echo. Okay, so it's great. Like
Yeah.
we almost get the show rolling, and then like we got technical things. You know, we get somewhere else. You know, this is how my brain works. So I mean, I'm not really. You know what I mean? I'm not really too stressed out about it. I'm like,
whatever.
I'll forget what I'm talking about.
Probably repeat yourself at least twice. Not even with the echo.
And then we'll have a different guest, or who knows, man. Who knows how it could go?
I think we should just open the door and just let anyone in. Just
Right,
see how
hey,
it
come on
goes
in,
that
yeah,
way.
hey, come on in.
We'll see if the mic works. Oh,
Yeah.
now Jerome's on his way to check something again. Is he gonna hit a chair? That's
Yeah, is he gonna tip chairs? Yeah, is he so angry? just breaking stuff. Oh man. Yeah, who knows, man? I mean, we might just spend a couple of hours just messing around and trying to get things to sound right.
Yeah, just trying to get the echo away. All in time to end it and then just put it away. till
Yeah,
next week.
usually that's how it works.
Yeah,
Usually that's how it works. The end, and we figure it out. And like the last 5 minutes of like anything that you're struggling with is like, oh, okay, I figured it out.
Well, isn't that funny? You know, you say the last 5 minutes, but it's like if something is tripping you up, you know, even if it's like right now and you're listening to this and it's kind of got you feeling away, you know, just give it a couple minutes. First thought wrong, right? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you just
First 103.
yeah, right.
You know, sometimes, man, it's just sometimes I feel that it's like no thoughts are right. You know,
Yeah.
and I gotta call a friend of recovery. And have them tell me what the fuck I should be doing.
Right.
Because a lot of times I'm I think I should do this, and I think I do that because I'm gonna justify this and rationalize that. And I'm gonna do this and blah 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 blah.
Or even call someone that like stamps your shit and says, "Yeah, do it anyway."
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll do that too. I'll do that too. Yeah, sometimes it just takes another person in a better place to tell me, the more recovery-oriented way to handle a situation, because I don't naturally think that. I still don't, and I still don't know if I ever will. And that's one of the things that I'm learning is that, like, it doesn't really matter how much training you got. Like, it's still a struggle and, like, doing the right thing and how you handle something, what type of using behavior are you exhibiting, and stuff like that, man. It really gets to be a lot.
Yeah.
And especially over time, man. Like over time for me, it's like there's like a certain level of guilt and shame that comes along with it because, like, I put an expectation on myself that, hey, I have X amount of clean time, so I need to behave in this amount of way, but that's not really how it works for me.
Right.
And it's like I just give myself a break. At least I'm not doing what I used to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm not ended up where I used to end up.
Right,
Every time.
exactly,
So
yeah.
it's like if I look at it like that, man, I'm doing alright. You know what I mean? If I start overthinking it, I will mind fuck myself.
Well, isn't that funny? It'd be like the simplest thing. We can just turn that all around in our head.
Absolutely, make a mountain out of a molehill, yo.
Right.
Out of a molehill, yo.
Like recently, I kind of was at a career where I was making some good money or whatever, and but it was keeping me away from recovery, because I was just too busy. I couldn't do it, And I started rationalizing being away and this and that, and then so I ended up, resigning from that job or whatever, and then I found myself suddenly I got sick. I got 40 staples in my belly right now from a little over a week ago. I had emergency surgery. I almost died twice.
Oh no.
And but I say that to say this, that in my head I was, I lost my car, lost my house, lost something, like just like a using, like almost like a using deal came back. What am I gonna do? I should probably go make a quick buck so I can, and none of this stuff even happened to me yet, And it was.
Go sell some dope.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yep, exactly. I'm gonna go sell.
It's gonna work out this time.
I'm way smarter. I'm clean, so I'm gonna go sell, and then I won't use this time. I promise.
Yeah, it's gonna work out great. It's gonna work out great because it worked out so well the other 894 times.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, no, that's exactly why I keep coming back because that's what I do, man. I'll start talking myself into it. I've talked with some addicts, some sponsees of mine, man, and I'm telling them how I wanted to sell weed.
Yeah.
oh, it's a good idea, you know, it's not the big thing, and I don't smoke it, my family, and my old friends, and my old friends.
Isn't that just crazy, man?
You know, and in reality, it's like, you know, like, yeah, it might work out the first time.
Right.
And it might the second, but like the first time, and I'm gonna tell myself, like, oh, I'm a success, like, you know, I better, you know, like, oh, let's, you know, sell some other stuff, you know, and then like,
Yep.
like, wow, this
Well,
looks really
think of how much better it'd be if I sold this.
Right, and then I can try a little bit, and then I can, you know, and then it starts getting going with the girls, and then I want to hang out with, and then I want to girls, and who knows, man? Who knows where it goes? Well, I know where it goes. What am I talking about, man? I'm sitting here like telling them, I'm sitting here like,
Yeah, right. You don't need like you don't know where it ends up.
Yeah, I don't even know what I'm saying. Like my disease is active right there. You know, because I'm just about to tell you all some bullshit, and that is some bullshit. I apologize. You know, so, and you know that goes back to like, you know, like all thoughts wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, so a lot of times it just takes action. You know. All right, Jerome, are you done throwing chairs and stuff, man? You okay?
I'm all
You
right.
good? Yeah, he took some time off, man. You know, he chilled. He went in his little corner of the room and I
Threw a chair.
I seen him in his Zen stance, though. I seen him with his legs crossing the floor, and you know,
I do some meditation, man. I do some
Yeah,
meditation.
man, I seen it. It's official. You know, it was great. You know, now he walked back. You know, he walked real swiftly. It was elegant. You know, there was no chair throwing. There was no breaking of the technologies and whatnot.
Not yet. We're gonna actually we're having someone come down to fix the echo, guys. So just kind of hang in there with us. In the meantime, I guess. In
the nice time. I'd like for it to be in the nice time. I'd like for it to be in the nice time.
Yeah.
Happy times. Happy times.
But yeah, no.
If you start breathing and panting, then the happy time's gotta stop.
Oh, it's great.
What do you guys usually like? What's your daily like meditation? What's your daily routine look like for your recovery?
Well,
Well, I mean, like, what's like the main, what's like the main, like, things that you can't, like, what are the main things that you need to do in some sort of sense of fashion?
I'd say breathe. Number one. Breathe.
Yeah, kind of pointing, but not
breathe.
necessarily sure.
Okay, you want me to sit there now?
Yeah. Well, pop over here. We'll talk. Pop over here. We'll talk. We'll chit chat.
Musical chairs again.
Yeah. So.
Don't worry, I won't throw a chair.
Over chairs.
You know, I know from the dog always jam packed with like thoughts. I mean, it's like, you know, if I just take a deep breath and just chill, you know, like it really helps like my brain kind of sort out what is really important, because it's all just stuff. And it's like, because I all of a sudden I'm getting angry, and then I'm getting depressed, you know, when it's angry, you know, when it's just a snowball, man. You know, a lot of times there's a lot of different things. There's a lot of different things. $9,000
myself, I've been not being able to sleep as well rested lately. So I think I have to make some
Too much caffeine, maybe.
Yeah, it's a caffeine. Yeah, it's a
definitely too much of that.
I thought I was gonna get my sleep back. That was the one thing I'm just like, you know, like I changed my whole life. Like I can't wait to actually get some like well rested sleep, and you know, my anxiety doesn't work like that. So
Yeah, absolutely.
What else? What else? Routine is it like? Your need to go to like meetings and like or like
Oh, absolutely.
or fellowship,
Yeah, no,
like
absolutely.
fellowship,
Yeah, no, there's,
like
well, see, the thing is, man. It's my life is recovery, and everybody in it is in recovery. So
I don't really,
I don't really, I don't like seek out to go to meetings. I just end up like that's just because like that's just what I do. And that's my friends do. So my friends do. I end up there. I end up there, and it's just kind of something that just naturally happens now because over time that's just and some. 9,200, I got 9,274 things going on. But it depends, But the good thing about just going to a meeting is that like it gives me time to slow down, because it's like, oh my God, it's like, oh my God, I say this a lot, man. I say this a lot, man, and I'll say it again that the mind of an addict, is a very especially this one, especially this one. You know what I'm saying? Like there's just a lot of spider webs up there, spider webs up there, go a lot of different places, and I'll tell you what, I'm thinking about up there, that I'm thinking about up there. It don't even happen. I got answers. I got answers to questions that'll never be asked. So it's like, So it's like, and I've recognized that. And I've recognized that since being clean. Is that I get a lot of racing thoughts. I get a lot of racing thoughts. It's typical amongst us addicts. We have so many thoughts. So many thoughts. We have a lot of racing. We have a lot of racing thoughts. And I mean, it's just good to know that. Like that's just a part of it. That's just a part of it. So can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Well, isn't that what they say? Is that the one thing you want back is your thoughts and feelings, but then you got to watch what you wish for, because the one thing you get back is your thoughts and your feelings.
Who is that? Is that you? Or is this like, you get your feelings back? I forgot how that thing.
Yell, ow, I have feelings. Yell, ow, I have feelings.
I thought I felt a lot of things when I was in active addiction, man. But now that I'm clean now, man, those feelings have branches now. So like, I used to just have like, I used to either be I was always on like the big things. I was like, either I'm really happy.
Yeah.
It's just like,
well, if you really think about that and dissect that, I mean, that's our disease in a nutshell. That's our disease in a nutshell. It's kind of that's how we roll. It's kind of that's how we roll. Pretty typical amongst us addicts. Like, I mean, if you look at it, like, how it looks, and like, how it looks does vary. But at the same time, it's the same thing in different ways. In different ways. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you get in here and you watch people, like do what they do. Some of my sponsees, or JP and the Hope Dealers, man. It's like it's either there's no middle ground. Like, you know what I mean? It's like it's like how that looks from addict does definitely vary. But it's the same thing. It's the same thing. And it's like the good thing is that like the good thing. And I've seen some addicts that really came from the dirt, super rock bottom, rock bottom, and like now they're really well in life. They got their face out there, publicly. Wow, man, you know what I mean? Like there's that addict that was shooting dope on the bridge. Now he's on commercials. Oh yeah, that is funny. Because I thought about it. I did do a commercial. I did do a commercial with Amy Klobuchar. I just remember that was like 2 years into recovery. 2 years into recovery. But no, like you see people do that, and it's like, wow,
it's a good segue though, because like nobody's recovery is the same. That's one thing that for me that I was like when I came in here, like I was desperate. I was like, I was desperate. I was like, I don't care if I don't fit. I don't care if I don't. I don't care if I don't. Because I gotta do something. I gotta do something. Yeah, absolutely. I cried during my first meeting. I was like, I don't care.
I'm crying a lot.
It's rough because like I want to look at the differences. I want to look at it like, hey,
that disease can get you.
Yeah, it's just like I want to just like, hey, I want any reason to be excluded, because I'm used to being around, like okay, I don't like this, okay, I don't like move around and but this time I didn't want to do it because like, like what was my other option? Like,
Yeah.
and I don't want to figure
Yeah.
out like everybody's
Right.
rock bottom is also
Right.
different.
Is
You know,
also
different. Because unfortunately, I wasn't, my bottom didn't look like, under a bridge, like, like any of the street stuff,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
but the feeling that I had, like, we all have a common ground. We all have a common ground. It's not to use.
Absolutely.
It's not to use. Once I got over that fact, I had no choice. I had to get over that fact.
Absolutely, me too. Absolutely, me too.
But once I got over that fact, we got more similarities, differences.
Absolutely.
That's what keeps me kind of going. What keeps me trying to actually be a better person and kind of relate to people, man. Because every time I sit down and actually hear people share, I get a little bit of something from everybody, man. Like it's like I might not have been through what you have exactly been through, but I know exactly how you're feeling.
Right.
And so that's what keeps me clean today.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. And that's another thing. And that's another thing too that this program it humanizes us. It humanizes our addiction. Because our addiction, to like so many levels. And that also varies from addict to addict. But like whatever you want to put it. But it's like we get here. We look at these steps. We look at these steps that are written on the wall. And we start really writing on stuff. Doing really doing it ourselves. Inventory ourselves and who we are, and how we want to be, and how we want to show up. It's really a trip on how or who we can become. A lot of times, we're really a lot of us addicts we're running. A lot of us addicts we're running. You know what I mean?
Wasn't that kind of what makes us alcoholic addicts and gets us that sick? Is we just never feel like it's okay any day. We don't want to look in the mirror. We don't like who we become.
That's true. Man, like how excited I am, like today, just to be. I was talking to you about this, just to be like all right. It's like, hey, I am all right. Like, how like a stag I am because my levels were just like low, man. Like it's just like, I woke up and it's just like, man, like especially me, like I used because I was sad.
Right.
So like I wake up, it's like, hey, I'm all right today, and that's sometimes that's all I can really. Sometimes that's all I got, But that's all right today, and I do appreciate it for that because I remember trying to fix that all right feeling, and it's like it never worked.
Yeah, right.
It never.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Further down that there rabbit hole. Yeah. Let me try it one.
Oh yeah, just always trying to find out. How deep that rabbit hole is. That was my thing. Like that was my thing. Like it's like, hey, how far can I go down this rabbit hole without getting in trouble? Without
Right. Let me not have consequences. Try and do this without consequences. You know what I mean? Let me get consequences. I knew that happened. I knew that happened. I knew that was gonna happen.
I didn't really care about consequences.
No, I mean.
That was my thing.
More or less like how I felt on the inside when I got here. That was just like there was a point where it was like I couldn't even be sad anymore. Like I just felt straight up dead. Like I would look at my dogs. I'd look at my dogs and like I didn't feel anything for my dogs. And like, man, I got them tatted on my chest. My heart. Those dogs were my heart, man. Those dogs kept everything and everything, man. And I was there was a point where I just couldn't even feel love for them, man, and I knew that I was in a rough place. So like when I got here, I knew that I had to do like all the legal shit, the legal and then the physical, and then the physical. I overdosed. I was limping. For the first couple of months. But all that shit really wasn't. It was definitely not good. It wasn't good, but like it wasn't really like what really made me want to change. It was that feeling of like just lost, man. Like lost beyond like tired of being lost. For years.
I mean, I'm still lost, but I get you.
Well, I mean, maybe it's just that you think. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times it's like it takes another to tell us how we're doing. We don't really see it because we don't really see it. We got this disease of perception. That's telling us that like we're not doing this, like we're not doing this, like I'm so terrible at this, or you know what I mean? Like we're really hard on ourselves. So we just
we're not doing it perfect.
Right. You know what I mean? Right. You know what I mean? Like we just never give ourselves a break, man. especially like you know, and then like I had the day that's at the end of the day that's just like all this anxiety, man. It's like who cares? You know, especially.
Yeah.
Lack taking it serious affect my why like they don't care like they don't care right, you know what I mean, like you know what I mean, like there's kind of a happy medium, there's kind of a happy medium around, I can't just go around like flicking people off, you know what I'm saying, but like you know what I'm saying, I don't know, I've been to this point recently that like I just don't care about a lot of stuff that I used to care about, you know, like oh what's this person, you know, like oh what's this person doing, what's that, are they saying this, or are they like it's and on the job site, it's like, and on the job site, it's like, oh, am I gonna get laid off? Now I kind of want. Man, when I got laid,
That's not how.
Yeah, and at it, man. It's like because I was really going to get laid off all the time, and like, and I did all the time. I worked all the way through it. I worked all the way through it, you know. And but I just wasted all this energy, about something that didn't even fucking happen. You know what I'm saying? Like I spent so much time in my head, worrying about shit that ain't gonna conversations,
having that argument,
conversations that I'm not, you know, and.
Right. You know what I mean? And it's like, wow, I mean, like if I could just take, you know, some of that mental space and just put it towards something positive, or something that is going to happen, something that is tangible, and something that is positive. Like there's no telling where, you know, it end up. And like this is the thing is about recovery is that like, you know, Carolyn over at Woolworths Recovery, and I think something like she says a lot, but like never, you know, imagine your wildest dreams and then imagine that, you know, times 10 or something along those lines. I'm sorry if you're listening or if you're ever listening, Carolyn. I do listen as how I interpret it. But like really, when I look at my life, man, like it is, you know, 100% better than it used to be, and like the things that I want in life, I have, you know, and I need to remember that, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, you know, because like a lot of times, like, oh, I get so hung up on just dumb shit, you know, stuff that's not even,
and even what you have now in yourself is enough.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I was during my practice, like, I was a person either, like, I didn't care, like, at all.
Right.
Like, at all. You know, like I said, I didn't care about the consequences or, like, what would happen. Or I was spending my time detached by it.
Right,
Like, this
exactly.
is the worst thing that ever happened to me.
Right.
Like, let me go drink time.
Absolutely.
You know?
Right,
exactly. So that was
self-destruct.
or if you actually did have a good day, I mean, go use a drink over that.
Yeah.
Just, you know, I deserve it.
Yeah, I earned it.
You know, I
Look at me.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Let me go pay my bills later. You know, like I need, like I had a great day at work. Like you know, I'm gonna go, you know, go to the store.
Yeah.
Go party for a little bit because I deserve it. You know?
Right, absolutely.
But yeah, it's just it's starting to care about your life.
Absolutely.
That's all.
Right.
Kind of just trying to get this.
Keep going. Yeah.
No,
Keep going. Right. Yeah. She hasn't thrown a chair yet, so we're doing okay.
Well, there's nobody watching at the moment,
Nobody
so
watching, just keep going.
we can figure this out. So
All right, cool.
Oh, there's no one watching now, so we officially pushed it.
Yeah.
That's
but we can get this solved. Well,
Well, we got half of it done.
now one person returned.
yeah. That's fine. We had one person return.
We got half of it done.
Is it echoing?
I don't know, because they stopped talking like a bunch of boneheads. Keep talking.
Keep talking about what?
Talk about life.
Talk about yourself.
Love.
God, we're so good. No, I'm just kidding. Man, I'm awesome.
I got this all figured out.
Yeah, man. I'm so great. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
What's your guys' take on I know it's something that
Well,
me personally, I'm still kind of you know, just like I'm kind of skittish.
Right.
Some people, it's very important actually for them. You know.
Well, you know, early on, man, it was that's like, man, I was all about all that, you know, the fellowship. So we have a breakthrough. We have got
Did
somewhere.
it fix?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Eric.
You know that.
Got us fixed. And we went to Confetto's. We go to Confetto's. You know, we'd go over to my sponsor's house. We'd have get-togethers. You know, like fellowship was really huge when I first got clean. And you know, this last year, man, like with the whole COVID and stuff, man, like it really killed a lot of the fellowship. But what's really cool is that like it's finally coming back. You know, like Pig was the other weekend, and
I didn't get to experience anything.
And that's what I say.
And that's what I do. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, man, because, like, a lot of us, there's a lot of heads that, like,
Or in the program that went back out because of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like their whole lifeline depended on like, you know, like the fellowship and all that, you know, and then all of a sudden there's no way that anybody's gonna meet person to person. And they're still out. Were shut down and
Yeah, I'm
you know,
excited, man.
Yeah, and you know, like Pig camp out was, you know, the other weekend. That was a blast.
Yeah.
They got
definitely.
Vermilion coming up. The roundup, you know, for, you know, our AA listeners or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I mean, like, who knows?
Definitely excited.
Yeah,
don't know.
I think like you know, fellowship and stuff like that is changing. 'Cause like when I first came into recovery, that's all I wanted to do, and then you know eventually I was like, gosh, it depends on what fellowship's going on. You know, like there's some of it that's, man, it has a lot of the same feelings. Just take the chemical away. You know, see a lot of people that are just, you know, maybe not being faithful in their relationship, stuff like that, and I don't know about. I had to want to change everything about my life. Like I don't want to be that person anymore. I was not a good person. Even without the chemical, I was breaking a lot of laws, doing a lot of stuff bad, and I didn't want to be that person no more. So for fellowship for me, I wanted to have, you know, it's one thing to watch a movie with a group of people, maybe have a barbecue or something,
Yeah,
but
that's cool too.
people like to have fellowship as their number one. Like I know people that don't, you know, there's meetings and then there's fellowship right after, and there's a lot of people that won't go to the meeting but they'll go to the fellowship, and
Right.
it's each to their own. I get that, but I think there's things that are talked about in them rooms, and there's ways to get things out of you that, man, until you do that, what are you really putting forth when no one's looking? You know what I mean?
Right.
I like that. Yeah.
You know, I could always. Even early on in recovery, but
Right.
man, when I was at home alone, I'll tell you what, that's when them demons came back, and that's when I started taking them steps, and I really took a very like a layer of the onion, as they say, right? You know, where I went back through and redid a 4-step just based on the way I felt when I was, because I didn't want to be alone. You know, I wanted someone around me all the time, and I didn't want to be like that no more. I wanted to be able to be okay with myself.
Yeah, no, I completely understand that. I have talks with multiple people about that, because that's one of my big things. Is just like, you know, like I don't want to be alone, but I don't want to talk to anybody, man. Like I didn't want anybody to know like the real me, because I didn't know the real me. So how was I gonna give you the real me if I don't know myself?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah, it's like this whole journey that I had for the 18 months, man. I'm still like, who am I? I don't know, you know.
Right.
But I, you know what? The best part is that I'm actually all right with it. Now I'm all right with like, hey, like this is my journey to find out who I am. Like let's stuff that I did in my active addiction. Like now that I don't use, I'm like it doesn't really pinks me that well, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a whole journey, if anything else. But yeah, getting there.
Yeah, he was just telling me that.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Ingrid could hear the ringer in the bubbles.
Yeah, don't mind us, guys. We're just winging it.
In the texting bubbles.
It's Axe talking to Axe.
Well,
So,
earlier you'd asked what's a daily thing, and
what does yours look like?
for me, so step one and for me is like a two-parter. I could always admit that I was, that I could admit to myself I was powerless over alcohol or drugs or any chemical.
Yeah.
I could admit that, but that I was that life was unmanageable. That was tough because
Okay.
you know what I mean. Like I had a hard time with that. So every day I have to, as cliche as it sounds, but it's got to. Sometimes that's the most cool stuff is the stuff that sounds the most cliche, but
Yeah.
I have to decide that I want to be sober today.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I do that every single day. I say, you know what? We woke up sober. Let's do our best to
Right.
get through this. Whatever that looks
Right.
like.
Right. So like when I was a kid, right? I got in trouble and I went to treatment, and like every time they said stuff like that, I was like, man, that just, I'm just using because I just want to get high. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know that like realistically like I was really running. Until like later on in my late 20s, and I'm 16 when I went to treatment. You know what I'm saying? So, it's really a trip to like how my disease had me trapped for so long, and I didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like it was quite apparent to everybody else like what I was doing.
Yeah.
And that I was an addict and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I still, nah, man. Not
Yeah,
me.
I can
No,
quit
not
this shit
me.
any
When I'm 16 years old, no, I don't got a problem. I just got a problem with this. No, I got a problem with that. No, I just shouldn't hang out with these people.
Or so anything else except an addict or alcoholic. I mean, like I drank too much. Like I have no stop button, or like hey, like today, like last night I didn't get enough sleep. Like I didn't what was it? I didn't what was it? I made a lot of excuses, guys. Like
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
excuses just
exactly.
to say that I'm not in.
just to co-sign your shit and then be
Yeah,
able to just stay in the funk, right? Almost, or just get down on yourself.
Dude, I had I think it was a couple years ago. I had an ex-girlfriend. Like finally, someone said that, hey, like you might be like, what'd she say? She was like, you like I think you're alcoholic and I don't know how to handle it. I'm just like, and I got like appalled, man.
Yeah, you're like,
I was just
how
like,
dare you judge me?
Like, how dare you judge me? Even though I was hiding like bottles under the couches.
Yeah. You're like looking at your hands, going, "I don't have a drink right now. Who are you to call me an alcoholic?"
Man. Like I had to just hiding under the. I hid bottles like literally everywhere, like
Yeah.
in the closets and
Yeah.
like And I was just I thought I was just the slickest person ever, man.
Yeah, right.
Like,
Right. Yeah.
Just waving everywhere, just like, hey, I'm really slick, man. I'm really glad that you brought the first step because the first like 8 months, I literally had to tell myself like, hey, like I wake up I'm like, hey, my name is Jerome and I don't drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Exactly.
Was a daily routine, man. You
Yeah.
know? And it was crazy because even that first 8 months, that was just like foreign to me to say that to myself, like like give myself pep talks. Like I never did that stuff, man.
Right.
Like
Yeah. Little gratitude every day, like, "Hey, you're enough." Or
I never.
Yeah. Right.
That wasn't a thing to me, man.
Right.
Like but it definitely. When I started doing that, it definitely helped start my days off right. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
whatever like comes in front of me, I'll be okay. You
Yeah.
know. That was my biggest issue. It's just like was me just like putting out fires, man. Like waking up and it's like, hey, what did I do last night? Like why?
Yeah, just like reacting almost first instead of acting, right? So you,
yeah, just starting it off on a bad foot, And
Right.
I want to be a little bit better, I don't get me wrong. We all. I'm still an addict at the end of the day, man. So like, I still come down to a fault, like there's some things that I, like, hey, that wasn't the right thing. I still got to take inventories every day, because like some behaviors still stick out. Like just because like my desire to use is gone currently, like, that's just for today as well. Doesn't mean some of my behaviors are left. And but what's different today is that I want to like be better about it. It's like, hey, like, like what can I do to actually curve this? Like, should I go to more meetings? Like, step work a little bit more.
That might change every day, right?
Yeah, man. I think one of my biggest things for me, especially, was like reaching out to other people. Like I was like, hey, I have a problem, because that was my thing. Was just like, if something happens to me, I would just keep, like, I'll bottle it up if anything else, and then like just like weeks, days, weeks, and months go by, and then I just explode, and just like dump gasoline on everything.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing, man. It's like it's just like, oh man, like I messed up, and I was one of those people. It's like, hey, like no, I gotta stop. Like, this is it. I'm done. I think I made it like a week and a half one time, and I was so.
That's a long time.
Shit. Yeah,
that really is. That's a long time, man.
Yeah,
like,
man.
That's a lot. That's a lot of things happening.
Most definitely. Like 3 days was like my number. That was like, whoa, like things are way too much.
But it was crazy though, because like I did, after like I fucked up really hard, and then it's just like, okay, I gotta stop. And I remember even having like, I was like marking down the board, and then like without like a routine, and like without a routine, it didn't matter. I just like went back into it,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I am really glad that I'm back in this, and see how it goes from there.
Yeah.
What else do we got?
Well, I guess one of the things that I like to say too is, when I was early on, is, my whole family was they never admitted to it, but in one form or another, they were addicted, So
Absolutely.
at a very young age, my dad would say things like, don't go hang out with my little brother, because he does drugs.
Yeah.
But stay here with us and you can drink.
That's awesome.
Because
I was that little brother.
Right, but I'd go over to my uncles, and my uncles would be like, alcohol's gonna kill you. Let's just do some drugs.
That's wild.
Yeah, and then I'd go back to my dad's, and he'd be like, so were you drinking with my brother? No. Were you doing drugs though? So, but he'd let me. I could go from the age of 5 years old. I could walk up to a refrigerator with my dad, and I could grab a beer.
Oh.
And he never thought that was a problem. But he always thought it was the drugs.
Yeah. It's so crazy how, like, society puts this like label on it, like it's really that good for you.
Yeah.
Like it's terrible.
Isn't that crazy?
I lost that friend of mine that I grew up with, man. He was at 36, and it's like, man, he drank himself to death, and there's a part of me that, like, I didn't see him for about 8 years, and no, longer than that, like about 10 years after the last time I saw him. So about 8 years before he died, I had heard that his drinking got bad, and so like from that time, he literally drank himself to death, and I think about it, and I kind of internalized it, man, and I thought about it like, wow, man, I wonder what the end was like, like from what I'm assuming. You know what I mean? So it's like,
or maybe even isolated, right?
Yeah, I just imagine that, like, he was just alone in a room, man, drinking himself to death, and like that's a really sad way to go out, and he happened to die during COVID, man, and like that's terrible, you know what I'm saying? Like there was only one person that was able to visit him, like during his dying days, but like the thing is that like he would go to the hospital, get out, and still drink,
right?
And oh man, it breaks my heart, man, because like it didn't have to be like that.
Well, isn't it funny? You just got done mentioning a little bit ago that during COVID, and then you said it again about how the alcohol list, fastly.
Right.
But during COVID, everything was shut down. But you could go, if you lived in the right state, you could go buy weed. You could go to any place and buy a booze.
Right.
You could just get it. Like it didn't matter where. but you couldn't get recovery unless you actually really searched for it hard.
Yeah.
You know,
we are really blessed about that in the state. You know, land of 10,000 treatment centers.
Yeah.
You know, like down south, like Georgia.
Yeah.
You know, Arkansas. Who knows? You know, Tennessee. Like places like it's really hard to get into treatment.
Yeah, it is.
You know, and like we have it good up here. You know what I'm saying? Like we're able to get help.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, before it's I mean, if we want it.
Yeah, you gotta want it. Yeah.
And here's the thing too is that like, you know I wanted it and I wanted a better life, but like I just wasn't willing to do what it took for me.
Right.
You know, and I know that like, you know, treatment center after treatment center after treatment center, like one person from every treatment center like stayed clean.
Yeah.
You know, so it was like, and like once I got into recovery this time, like I just happened to be that person that, you know, the treatment center that like stayed clean for X amount of time, you know, and you know, so by the time I got here, it was like I seen all these people and they're like, oh, I remember you. So I already recovery community that like, you know, knew who I was and whatnot. So like that really helped me out because like, you know, when I got here, it was like I was just so beat down that like I couldn't people. And people didn't want to people with me. Select few, well, not a select few. I went to treatment a couple of times, you know. And there was probably about 10 people that like, you know, ranging from 2 years to 10 years clean. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, and one thing led to another too, you know, with like you know, some friends from treatment, man, and you know, I got employment, you know, which that employment led to some other employment, and then that led to a place to stay, and then that led me to my union, you know, trials and tribulations through life. Like here I am now, you know.
Right, that's true.
You know, so like one thing leads to another, man, and the thing is that like, you know, I hope my hope is that like it's more than just one person out of, you know, the 10 people that go to treatment or 20.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing is that I'm seeing is that like it is from, so don't, you know, punch me in the wiener for saying this, but like
I might.
I do. Yeah, throwing chairs. You might need to zen. Seeing more and more, you know, people, you know, really showing up for other addicts, you know, like, and then staying for the long haul, man, you know, and that's why, you know, a lot of times when I share, like, I'm telling people, like, hey, man, like, you better be sure that, like, you're ready for the storm.
Yeah.
You know, because I know for me, like, once life started happening, like, I wasn't ready for that shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, like, this is hard. I want to kill myself. You know, like, and I don't have drugs right now to, like, you know, ease the pain.
Hey, dude, that was your solution, right? You didn't have the solution anymore. How do I deal with this?
Yeah, exactly, man. And you know, and I see people go through things, man, and I see people walk through things, you know. And man, and then I see a lot of people that don't. Why I see more that don't than do, you know. And that, you know, it can be a tragedy, you know. Like when I think about, you know, the relationships that I've had in recovery and the people that have been around me in not make it than make it, you know, and that's like, man,
that's the reality of it.
Yeah, big time, and that sucks, man, because I wish it wasn't like that, man, you know, because a lot of times we don't see the reality of what our disease truly is.
Well, that's why you know, I was kind of speaking on like the daily routine though, because like, you know, I heard a fellow person tell me, a fellow person in recovery tell me that you know, he doesn't know what works. He doesn't know if it's the meetings, like he doesn't know if it's like his gratitude. He doesn't know he just like, you know, his gratitude before the morning starts. He doesn't know if it's like him speaking at meetings. He doesn't know if it's him doing step work, but he's gonna keep doing all of those. Because like that's, you know, that's if it works right now, then he's not gonna like miss out on one of them. Like he has to do all of them in order to keep there, you know.
Right.
And that's the important part because like, you know, he also said that, you know, we're saving up. We're basically saving up. Like, you know, today might be all right, but I'm still gonna maintain my my routine because like I'm saving up until like, you know, if something does happen, so I could you know, take that recovery that I got and like, you know, deposit anything else or take out, you know, for the storm, you know, like because you need that.
Absolutely.
Getting there, man. But yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I think too is it like what you said there is doesn't matter, which part of it, but you need all of it. And I think that it's that simplicity that sometimes leaves us, because it is that simple. Just don't do any worse than what you did yesterday.
Yeah.
There's a
that's the
good
simple part.
shot that tomorrow is going to be okay. And then before you know it, your yesterdays don't suck.
Yeah.
You
that's
know,
true.
and also for me, I just found that as long as I can keep it simple, stupid, it
Yeah.
just works the best, and
yeah.
you're gonna mess up,
Mhm.
and understanding that there's gonna be a mess up, but it's not about the mess up, it's about what you do while you're in the mess up. Now, do you call call Rob, call Elena, call you, Jerome?
Yeah.
Give someone a phone call, because I'm pretty sure, if you were to do that instead of staying in your own funk, you'll find out that through someone else, they'll say, well, geez, you could have went out and used over that and you didn't. Congratulations.
Well, and that's
You know?
that's the thing about it too, because like that's what for me, like I was so hard on myself, man. Like anytime I messed up, like I was like, because it wasn't about me. Like I never really cared about like how I was like, I was a people person,
Yeah.
people pleaser, like I always worried about somebody else. I was always wondering like, why is that, but I always wanted to take the spotlight off of myself, if anything else, too.
Yeah.
So
Right.
whenever I messed up, like I said, I kind of hit in the shell, because it's like I messed up, like my life's over, I can't fix it, so why? If I can't fix it, I might as well just make it worse,
Right,
Like,
right.
And I might not have been saying that to myself like directly, but like my actions definitely showed that,
Right.
So I think a big thing for me to keep me going to this day was just like, hey, like whenever I have a problem, I will call people, like
Right.
I have to. That's how.
Yeah,
that's
the
how
phone the phone's heavy, but still pick it up and
the phone's
try.
heavy, man. Like it's still heavy to this day, man.
It is. It
I,
is.
I still talk to fellow people, man. Like and their phone's still heavy to this day too.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's I know that's part of my routine. I have to keep doing that, man. I have to do things like that in order for me to kind of keep going,
Right.
Yeah. Man.
Further.
Yeah, you got a nice voice. More, but
More like annoying.
Yeah.
No, it's not even annoying. Somewhere in the middle, I suppose.
see, you're being hard on yourself.
I
We just talked
yeah.
about that.
Yeah, we just talked about it.
One too many inhalants.
Yeah, that's fair. I got a stoner laugh, but I can't. So I can't really say anything, man.
That is there. You know what though, man? Like there is probably some truth to that. Like when I was on house arrest one time, like I did whippets for like 2 straight months.
Yeah, that's
And,
probably the worst one.
Of course, because I was I was able to do heroin, once or twice a week. I would do my UA and I get some dope, and then in between I would do some inhalants. So, because I can't stay sober. Why would I want to do that? And like it's funny because like after I got clean, I remember going.
Yeah.
It sounds like it was like a garbage bag full of whippet cartridges in my closet,
Yeah.
And he's like, I was cleaning out your room and I got pricked with a needle, and I'm like, oh my god, like I'm sorry about that, Like that's just and I look back on that and it's like, man, my poor pops.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My
that's
poor
true.
dad, man. And I didn't see it that way, man. I really didn't. I didn't see it that way. I didn't.
Yeah, we only.
Man, I'm his only son.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was on heroin. Like what are the odds that I'm gonna live? They're not very good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I look back on that, and it's like, man, But the good thing is like here I am today doing what I'm doing. So, he gets to see that, and see me just just do well in life. That like
Yeah.
But I think about that. It's like poor dad. Like. When they were kids, I mean,
Right.
obviously there was heroin around, but like it's like they smoke joints.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
they
Yes.
smoke joints and they did White Crosses and probably some cocaine or something.
Yeah.
Right.
But like they didn't shoot heroin.
Right.
You know, they weren't 16-year-old kids shooting heroin. You know what I'm saying? So like I could just imagine, like, you know, from that point of view of, you know, there's so many unknowns and like just the amount of anxiety and fear that's involved that like that I put them through. You know what I mean? And like my mom too. You know, it's like, wow, we don't really see the damage that we're doing. Like there's, oh man.
Yeah, but I think it's good that, you know, that you can turn around from that.
Right, absolutely.
And you know, so like, how is your relationship with your parents now? I mean,
well, so in my motorcycle endeavors, because I bought a bike this year, I got my endorsement, and you know, like I said earlier, my dad bought a motorcycle too, and you know, he broke about 10 years ago, 8 to 10 years ago. And we got into a car accident about 18 years ago that was really bad. And, you know, he had to learn to walk again. His right leg's kind of numb. And so he hasn't rode it, you know. And, you know, like, but I know why he bought the bike. You know what I mean? Like, he wanted to go ride with his son.
Yep.
You know, to share that and whatnot. And, you
yeah,
know,
but you guys get along good now, though, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, number 2, I have a level of understanding, and number 3, like, you know, I the perspective of the relationship is like, you know what, man, like, well, and I'll say this too, is that like my aunt wrote a book about their childhood, like it was so messed up, you know, and mine wasn't the best. There was some physical abuse and a lot of verbal abuse, which I didn't even know that was a thing.
Right.
Just doing the best he could with what he got, you know, and
yeah, that's cool.
You know what I mean? And
yeah.
it's you know, and now it's like because if it wasn't for him, I probably would have never have, you know, like who knows, you know, it wouldn't have, you know, that seed would have been planted within me on like, hey, this is possible because you can change your life, because he went from this, you know, asshole, abusive, alcoholic, you know, crankhead that like, you know, to somebody that was like, you know, really caring and able to provide for his family, and like his life really turned around, you know, and if he hadn't done, there's a level of gratitude there now, you know, that like before it was like, you know, a resentment, and now it's just a, you know, a level of gratitude that like, you know, if he didn't do what he did, then I maybe wouldn't even be doing what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
like,
that's awesome.
Maybe he probably, you know, kept me from where I could have been, you know, like it could have been a lot worse, you know, because, you know, like growing up, it was like, so like we had this identity crisis, you know, like I really thought that like, you know, I was the baddest motherfucker on the planet, you know what I mean, and I, you know, I would do whatever it took to get you to believe that, and realistically, man, like, you know, getting clean, I'm not that person, you know, I'm not a tough guy. I don't want to be a tough guy. I'm actually kind of soft, you know what I mean? And I'll tell you what, there's no fucking way that I would have ever said that.
Yeah, right.
I ain't telling you that, you know what I mean? I'm
absolutely
like, you know,
never.
I'm gonna punch you in the mouth. I'm tough. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You know, but in all actuality, man, I was hurt, man. You know, because they say hurt people, man. And when I learned that, when I got here, I was like, mind blowing, dude. You know what I'm saying? I was like, whoa, hurt people. That's a you know, because I sold weed and coke, you know, for this guy, and every time he got a new car, he'd come over to my house and show me, you know, and like really, man, like I paid for them fucking cars.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And like
crazy,
and
right?
that's what I was going after, man. Is I wanted to, you know, get what he had, you know, because it was like, hey, look at this and look at, you know, in all actuality, like he wasn't anything that like I would even want to be anything relatively close to these days.
Well, you know, for me, I definitely just want to be like part of the in crowd. So that's how, you know. But the thing about me though, it's just like I want to be part of the in crowd. I didn't want to, you know, sell drugs. I just wanted to use them, to be honest. But like, you know, I just hung out with drug dealers most of the time. You know, man.
Yep.
And you know, especially working in that environment that I was working in. You know, it was like I said, hurt people, man.
Yep.
So like it was just kind of rotating thing where, you know, somebody's mad at somebody else, and then you just like, hey, that's the only way I could you know, that I could feel better is like I always thought I had to teach somebody else. Like if they hurt me, like I had to you know, hurt them too.
One
you know,
up you.
One up you.
Let me
You
get
know,
you back, man.
you know, like nowadays, man, it's just like sometimes like, you know, like what I tell people now, especially like recently, it's just like, man, just because like somebody needs a lesson doesn't mean man, that's not what I'm here for, man.
Yeah.
Get there, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What's up? How do you guys find when you go to your meetings, like how do you find your people, quote unquote? Like like for me, like I think just showing up first off, you know, for showing up and just trying to figure like who, like don't get me wrong, like we all have a common thing. That's what I'm here for. That's what I have to put in my head. It's like, hey, we have a common bond. Like kind of go from there, you know. But like, what is your method? Like, what is your method of like finding people that you relate to?
You want to answer that first?
Oh, go ahead. I can, but you know, for me, I just find that when I go into a meeting, I try to look for some. I'm kind of outgoing and I kind of talk, you know, and whatever, and I take the like more like a lot of humor. So I find someone who can just put up with my humor, I guess, more than anything.
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
You know, because it comes across as being a dink, you know, of just being an asshole sometimes, and I don't mean it, you know.
Right,
I'm just trying to be funny.
We just went through this earlier of being an asshole and not really trying to.
Yeah, right.
You know, because that guy walked in here and I'm like, oh shit, I think I sound like an asshole right now. You know,
Right.
Elena's like, are you being an asshole? And I'm like, am I? I'm not trying to be. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, oh, and all that was.
Not say that.
Well, I mean,
She kinda
realistically,
did.
I probably was being an asshole, and I really was not trying to be an asshole. You know what I mean? And that guy's probably like, well, I mean, he probably like took a look at me. He was like, wow. And then like how I said it, he was like, the guy's probably an asshole.
The guy's probably an asshole.
Well,
Look right
tatted
at
up
him
and
and
shit,
just walk away.
Well, that's why you need other people to, because sometimes like, hey, you know, some of the stuff that I say is like, I call you every once in a while. I call a fellow like, it's just like, hey, is this right what I did? You know,
Right.
like, you know, like
right.
I never used to do stuff like that, man. So it's like, man, I was right.
Wait, I'm gonna do this. And,
You know, it's like I was right. Screw them, you know. But you know, I need people around, man.
That's
like,
a you problem. That's not a me problem.
It's a you problem, not me. You know,
Right.
like I'm the perfect one. What are you talking about?
right. Yeah, man. So, for me, man, you know, like I've been around to so many different meetings that like I've met so many people and like so many people know who I am that like I always run into somebody I know.
That's
you
fair.
know, so it's like it's kind of like I'm not really in an uncomfortable place really anymore when I go to a meeting that is unknown, because more times than not, like I know somebody that knows somebody,
That's
or like
fair.
they know me from Facebook, or they know me from this or that. So it's kind of easy, you know, from my perspective.
But I mean, you've been around for a while.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
and that's
Yeah.
just like you know, showing up. That's the biggest thing. You know, it's
Yeah.
just like because you know, like I said, I had desperation when I got married. You know, like I didn't care like what it was, but like as I started showing up to more meetings, like I definitely found people that I relate to, or I didn't even relate to. You know, we just like we went on the common bond and like kind of made a bigger bond after that. You know,
yeah,
everything else. So it's definitely kind of but it's still how you do that. It's still rough though, like when you first like come in recovery and it's like, hey, like you're just with a bunch of strangers, man, like, you know, it's just like we might have that common goal, but like you're still technically strangers, you know.
Right.
And
You're so broken down.
Yeah, man.
You know?
And that's like I said, I wanted to talk myself out of like anything. You know, it's
Right.
just like, man, like the moment you told me, it's like, hey, like you know, but the sky isn't blue, like I'm out. You
Yeah,
know?
right.
That's my thing. But you know, I kind of held on. That's what I want to do. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, once the first person actually started pointing up at them steps on the board, and I started reading that God word in a lot of the stuff.
Yeah. That's
Man,
it.
I'll tell you, I'll be honest. My first sponsor, I told him there's no way. That's not going to be me ever.
Yeah.
And you know, now I consider myself pretty spiritual. I go to church pretty regular, and
That's right.
you know, I don't consider myself religious, if that makes sense. But you know,
I'm the same
I've
way,
been
man.
I've been rebaptized, and you know, would consider myself a Christian. But and I have no problem saying the word God now. You know, but one of the things I was struggling with was, you know, a power greater than myself. I didn't know what that meant. You know,
Right.
restoring me to sanity. My life was pretty insane, so I didn't. My stupid brain turned that into I get that back. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not going to get better. I'm going to get my insanity back, and I didn't want to get better. So I was a one-stepper for a long time because I couldn't figure out how to get past two.
But that's I mean, that's all right though. That's the thing about it. Like you still like you kept pushing. I mean, that's how I am too. It's just that I couldn't get over it either. I really couldn't. You know. But I just kept on coming, and you know, maybe like it's like maybe one day I'll just like I'll get it, you know. And
Yeah.
there's difference between being religious and having being spiritual too.
Yeah,
you know,
I believe so, too.
Trying to find like the peace within yourself, you know.
Yeah.
For a long time, I definitely was. I felt like I had like this like a hole in me, like a pit that I couldn't like. It didn't matter like what I put it in, like drugs, money, sex. Nothing made it whole again, if anything
Right.
else.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
The connection with people in the fellowship and the connection with others, and you know, actually trying to be a part of something definitely helped me out. You know,
Yeah.
to try to like figure out like what my spirituality was, man. And
Yeah.
that was the biggest step that I needed to take.
Well, it's like earlier you were talking about you know, that you had siblings because you were the black sheep. I consider myself the same, you know. And you had some sisters or brothers, I'm not sure which, you didn't really say, but you had some siblings that you didn't really talk to for a long time. You know, I have two blood sisters, and I haven't talked to them in 4 years. And it wasn't until I had gone into surgery recently that my one sister called me up just to chew my ass in half for not calling her, apparently.
Of
But
course.
you know, early on, the power greater than myself was just because my one sister called me back and said that I'm doing this for the attention. And she said it's never going to stick. It's never going to work. It never has before. You've always talked about quitting, and you never have. So you're just never going to quit again. And I used that as fuel early on.
Yeah.
To like tell me I won't.
Yeah.
You know, you tell me I won't, and I'm if nothing else, I'm going to do it just to prove you wrong.
It's believing the door handle, man. It's believing the door handle.
Yeah,
That's what it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Like what was like your, I can't really necessarily like your last straw, but like what like for you, like since you said you have been through this a couple times, like what was that thing where it's just like, hey, like this is it. I'm gonna try it. Or what was the thing that you did differently this time to actually kind of go through the long run?
Yeah, just to be honest, it was fear. You know, my story does not involve me going to jail. My story involves me, you know, a couple times trying sobriety, trying to go to, you know, my life brought me out to Minot, North Dakota for 3 years working on the Air Force derricks out there for my career. And I tried sobriety out there, but that's a way different world out there. At least I feel it was. It was like the old smoky churches they talk about.
Yeah,
and
I've
you
never
walked in the room.
experienced that yet.
Yeah, and you walked in the room, and they didn't let me sit down for 2 meetings because they said I had to earn the chair I was about to sit in.
Oh wow.
You know, things. You know,
old
it
school
was
meetings?
Yeah, that's definitely
old
Is
school.
that what they do?
Yeah, that's what
I
that.
don't know if I like that.
Right? It wasn't this warm welcoming that, you know, like even Rob was talking about, the land of 10,000 treatments. You know.
Yeah.
But this last time, what I had done is I'd gotten into a bad wreck, and it was the first time in my life that I actually felt like if I didn't do something, I was going to kill someone else. Because my best friend for, you know, 30 plus years, he was sitting in the rider's seat, and I was high and drunk when I rear-ended someone at freeway speed, and I thought he was dead. I really did. And then the person that I rear-ended, for just a brief second, I found myself going, "Geez, I could have killed that man too." And that's what it took. I got out of the truck that day, and I said, "You know what? I actually just said there's got to be an easier way." I don't remember looking up when I said so. I don't remember, I just remember saying that. And so this time it just really took a submission of, if I don't do something, someone else is going to get hurt. And I'd always said since I was young, if you were my enemy, I would, fight you or do whatever. And that's one thing. But if you were someone that I didn't know, or someone that would be considered a friend or family, if any time throughout my using and drinking, if you got hurt because of me, I would quit.
Yeah.
And, this is the first time that someone that I cared about is my best friend, and riding shotgun, and I thought I killed him. That's what it took for me. It took me a long time to get to where I didn't see that, because once I hit, I instantly looked over at him, and I seen him fly into the windshield. He actually made it there before the airbags went off.
Yeah.
And he hit the windshield, hit the dash, and then fell. He had a seatbelt that just it malfunctioned. Like everything, it was a perfect storm, but he ended up not dying. He ended up not even getting hurt. He had bumps and scratches and bruises, but he was so drunk he was actually passed out. But it was just, that's what it took. It had to be something like that in order for me, I think, because otherwise, I'd gotten into wrecks before, and would just be by myself. And I just would whatever. It's a truck or it's a car. I'll just go buy another one.
Yeah.
This one actually had some other people involved. So.
See, that's just like everybody's rock bottom is different. My story doesn't involve jails either.
Right.
But just like
I did a little bit of jail time, but
a little bit.
Because I had to sit some time in the workhouse when I had about 6 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then so I too was that new way. And they were like, "Well, go turn yourself in." Well, because a warrant popped up, right?
Oh.
And they had what did they do wrong? They had the year wrong, my birthday year, and I was like, "Oh, definitely not me." You know what I mean? I really thought that I could get away with this, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because clearly I'm very identifiable. You know what I mean? And I'm like, "Oh, they got the year wrong. I'm good." You know what I'm saying? Like the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office is not gonna know who I am. You know what I mean? And So I'm telling my counselor this, and she's just like, "You're ridiculous," and I'm like, "Yeah, okay."
Maybe you're right.
Okay, maybe. So they were like, "You should turn yourself in. We will we'll hold your bed." And I was like, "Okay." So I went and I turned myself in, and they gave my bed away. And I got out, and I had to find a place to stay, and they restarted my time. And then I went to court for this. This DUI I got was my fourth one, and I overdosed and facing the wrong way in a one-way, and they found some heroin in my car, which luckily they didn't charge me with. But so they took my blood without my consent, and there was something going on at the time where this guy was taking it up to the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court was going to hear this guy's case in 5 weeks or something. So they pushed my court date
Eesh.
Yeah, dude, it was 34 days after I threw myself in. They gave me court today. I was like, "What's in Ramsey County too?" I knew what they were doing. You know what I mean? I was like, "This is bullshit."
Right.
But at the end of the day, man, I went and I pled guilty because it was a simple fact of the matter that I was done. I was done, and I know that I was guilty, and there was no getting around it. I could have, I probably could have. I probably could have just not. But at that point in time, I was just willing to do whatever it took. So.
Right.
A desperation, man.
Yeah, man. I was like, what, man? I'm guilty. I did it. And I'm gonna be past it. So about 3-4 months in, after I graduated from New Way, I had to turn myself in, and I thought I was only gonna stay for 14 days because they said that I was gonna have the option to do house arrest. Well, that didn't quite work out that way. And they took away some credit for time served that I had, so I had to sit for 50-something days.
Okay.
And it was a very different experience. And my sponsor would, I got work release, and my sponsor would pick me up. We'd do step work and stuff, granted, it probably isn't being 100% honest, but, You know, at least I was hanging out with my sponsor and not, you know,
Yeah,
doing
sure.
whatever. But like the experience was totally different from any other time that I went to jail.
Okay.
You know, and you know what was crazy about that is that like as I was in jail for that, right? I had a court date that in Dakota County that they wouldn't let me go to. You know, so they wouldn't let me go to. So I'm sitting here trying to do the right thing, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna get a warrant, and then what?
Yeah.
You know, and then after that, I'm gonna get my work release taken away.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So then I'm not gonna be able to go to work. I'm gonna lose my job. I'm gonna, you know, end up going into Gen Pop and blah blah blah. You know, so man, I call the courthouse, man, and like just one lady just really had some patience, man, and I was like, you know what, like I'm gonna help you out. You know, I'm gonna get a hold of the prosecuting attorney, you know, and I'm gonna tell him what you got going on, and like she really like did her job.
Yeah.
And like, you know, any other time, like, man, F you and F them, fuck that, you know, like I just, you know, I had no respect for any authority,
Right.
you know,
right.
whatsoever, and like, and
it would end up costing you more, right?
I treated her like a human being, and she totally treated me like a human being too, man, and went to bat for me and got my court date pushed out. I didn't end up getting a warrant, you know, and then I ended up staying in work release, man, and it really worked out, you know what I'm saying? And
It's doing the right thing, man.
like
That's
things,
the thing about it.
things
you
were
know?
really just like, early on, it was really hard for me. You know, it was really hard for me to say, like, a lot of things were coming up in life, man, you know, and I was able to handle them, like, with grace, you know, a lot better than, you know, as of recent, you know, because, like, as time goes on, you know, you get kind of, you know, a little bit comfortable, but, so this lady, you know, she got dropped, and, you know, I did my time, and that was it, you know, and I was like, this time around, I wasn't making any friends, you know, it wasn't like, hey, where's Petey the Plug, you know what I'm saying, it was just like, you know, I didn't want to hear the jailhouse stories about how, you know, I know Pablo and, you know, and I know Trapo and those are the good old boys and blah, 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 you know, all the shit you hear in fucking jail, you know, and I got out, man, and I haven't had to go to jail since.
Yeah, that's
You know,
awesome.
imagine that.
Yeah,
you know what I
right,
mean? I've
right.
been clean for 5+ years, and I haven't been in jail in about 5. You
Right,
know? So
right.
imagine that. I don't have to go to jail anymore, and I mean, not unless I choose to.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like
We have a
before I
choice
really
now.
didn't have a choice. You
Yeah.
know, like it was just a part of life. You
Right.
know, like that's just
Right.
what you did. You went to jail. You
Yeah.
know? And sometimes you don't. Like, you know, in some people's stories they don't, which I don't discredit anybody that, like, you know, like I actually have a level of envy for, you know, like, you know, individuals that I see that come in and they had one bad experience on cocaine or something and cheated on their boyfriend and they stay clean ever since. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I have a level of envy, you know. I'm not like, oh, what are they doing here? I'm just like, wow, man, like your pain tolerance is so low. I think I want that. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Like, I think
yeah.
my life would have been a lot easier
Oh, we're-
if I would have just had one bad experience
Well, I mean,
and I'd have been good.
Well, we're all different, though,
Of
man.
course,
you know, that's just like-
I had to
that's
get
the rock
beat
bottom.
the fuck up. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like
yeah.
repetitively for you know, multiple years, decades.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like there is a level of envy that, like I say, I'm like, you know what, good for you. You know, good
Yeah,
for you. You know what I'm
definitely.
saying?
Yeah,
Like that's
right.
all it took.
Yeah.
You know, like my older brother, man, like, so you know, I was still in meth. And I sold him some meth, man, and he had one bad experience and he never touched it again.
I
I'm
wish it
like,
was
man,
that.
fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, I had like bad years on that stuff, man,
Right.
and I
Yeah.
still did it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what differentiates, you know, the addict mind, or like, you know, or different levels of sickness. You know, so, and it varies, you know, from person to person. You know, for me, it was like, you know, and here's the deal: is that, like, you know, when I was a kid, man, it was like, I'm never gonna do powders. I'm just gonna smoke weed. I'm just gonna smoke weed.
Right.
You know, and then I smoked too much weed, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna try cocaine, you know, and I did cocaine, and then before you know it, I'm selling it, and before you know it, I'm doing everything that I'm trying to sell, and before you know it, I'm fronting from people I shouldn't be fronting from, and I'm not paying them, and I'm hiding from them, and then I'm like, oh wow, this is bad, and that's when I'm 16 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it
right.
took from 16 to 31 of bumping my head that hard and harder and harder and harder for me to finally, you know, end up to really want to stay clean. And here's the deal: is that, like, well, I'm never gonna smoke crack. Well, I'm smoking crack, you know, and then I'm never gonna do meth. Those friggin' meth
Yeah,
heads,
no,
you know.
meth
Like,
heads are
don't talk
bastards,
to me.
yeah.
Don't talk to me, you filthy meth head.
Yeah.
You know, and then I'm smoking meth and I'm just running around like a meth monster. I'm like, well, at least I'm not gonna be a junkie. You know, I'm not gonna end up on heroin. Like,
Yeah, isn't that
oh,
funny?
you're
Yeah.
sick. Oh, you're sick. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you pathetic. And then what do you know? I'm on heroin.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, like now,
you
that's
know?
why for me, like especially now, I was like, man, I try to treat everybody like the same. You
Absolutely.
know, at least to the best of my ability. You know, because like, I've been through it where it's just like, you know, I spend a lot of time, in my addiction, like, well, I'm not as bad as that person. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like,
yeah.
like I'm not as
absolutely.
bad as that person. Like, you know, I can keep going. And then after a while, there was nobody to compare to, man. Like
Absolutely.
I was that guy.
Yeah,
You
right?
know?
Yeah.
Like,
Nobody left.
Like, yeah, no, it's like I was that guy, you know. So now it's just like I try to do do the right thing, man. Like, you know, it's like, hey, like treat them until they show otherwise. Like treat them as and you know the same as I would be like to be treated. Like seriously, a golden rule is
Absolutely.
a thing, you know. You know, sometimes it's hard. You know, I mean, everybody, we all have different personalities, and you know, we all have different struggles. But now I try to at least like level with people. You know, like hey, like you know, it's like I level with people. Just like hey, like I've been through that. I've been through that experience before. You know, like I have no right to judge them. You know,
Right.
That's where I'm at. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell yes.
It's
Hey, we've been doing a good job, guys.
Yeah.
we kind of keeping it rolling smooth. It's like it was planned or something.
Absolutely.
No. We're very creative. I mean, you know, anybody that's addicted, they're creative as anybody else. You know, and that's what I appreciate about this. About the recovery community in general. You know, past the usage, like we definitely are a creative bunch. And that's what keeps me here, man. There's a lot of things that keep me here, but that's one of the bigger ones.
Yeah.
Too, so
Yeah.
man.
Absolutely.
Get in there.
So what's your plans for the rest of the weekend? What do you got going on?
I am really excited for my mom and sister, brother. Actually, well, my brother lives here, but my mom and sister are in town, so I want to hang out with them. Get some little nature time going. I can't wait for that. Actually, yeah, I wouldn't in my youth. I never would. It's like going outside. I didn't care about any of that stuff, man.
Yeah, right.
but now it's just like, you know, like the whole like meditating and like, you know, like the slowing down. I enjoy like, you know, the quiet sometimes, man. I do. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I enjoy my thoughts. Like, you know, like trying to, it's like because at first a lot of my stuff was just like I don't want to be alone by myself. Like I don't want to know my thoughts. Like all I tell myself is just like you're worthless and you know this and that. It's like, you know what, I'm just trying to like be myself and try to figure out like what I need, like listen to my body and like what I need in order for me to keep moving and have a happy life, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, what do you got going on the rest of the weekend, Rob?
Man, y'all already know what I'm gonna be doing, man.
Yeah, I know what you're doing.
I'm gonna be getting used to that truck, baby. I'm getting used to that truck, man. Riding around flossing, man. That's what I'm gonna do, man. Trying not to blow my eardrums out. You know what I mean?
You're gonna be death by the end of the night.
Right.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that thing?
Oh yeah,
It's
I see
sick.
that. He
Yeah,
showed- he
yeah,
showed-
insane.
I gave him a ride around the block earlier, dude. He was like, "What, dude?
Yeah,
That's ridiculous, man."
that is actually ridiculous.
Very ridiculous. Yeah, man. So, you know, I don't know. I gotta do a couple of things, you know, in regarding security issues and whatnot. So I gotta do some of that. I think I might actually go back to the gym. I took 2 weeks off because I got a shoulder that's pretty messed up, and I kind of miss it. And I'd probably like to go hit the gym a little bit. I was supposed to do some side work, but you know, he never got a hold of me, and I'm not gonna chase him. So
Yeah, right.
whatever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, that's cool, man.
Don't
you know?
threaten me with a good time.
Right. I would like to make some money, you know, but I don't really care. You know, like
Right.
I'd rather just, you know, get some sleep, and obviously now I'm just riding around. You know what I mean?
Ride around thumping.
Yeah, I took these 5 days off, man. I'm just like, you know, because I was doing a lot of because what we talked about, I think we talked about this like months ago. I was like,
Yeah.
you know, I never really tried the whole like working, like, you know, overworking, and like maybe that's like what my recovery needs. And let me tell you, I do not need that. Like I worked.
Yeah, absolutely.
I took like maybe like a 2 day or 3 days off in like maybe like 2 months, and that was horrible. I will never,
Right.
I will never do that again. You know,
Right,
right.
my recovery has to come first. So I took a little bit of time off, like took like 5 days off, just to be like, hey, you know, probably kind of reset, kind of go to meetings, do this podcast. I'm really excited for that. I'm on air right now. So,
Right.
Yeah, I definitely need
So
the time.
I think it's almost time for. Oh no, you're gonna answer that question. What are you gonna do this weekend? And then after that, we got to do what we're grateful for, right?
Absolutely.
That's what we're doing on this here podcast?
Yes, we
Well,
are.
Okay,
like
so what are you doing this weekend, bro?
just gonna go hang out with some friends and hit a few meetings.
Yes.
Probably go to the 10 o'clock meeting tomorrow at Blaine. Pretty good meeting.
Yeah.
But other than that, I really don't. I got to slow way down because of that darn surgery shit I just
Yeah.
had. So, but
Yeah. That's
anyway, so
crazy.
it's kind of slowed down, but it's all right. I'll make it through and just hang out with some friends, do some stuff, and just have a lot of fun. Just try to have some gratitude, attitude for gratitude.
I love it.
Boom. Boom. So it's about 10:53 and
Elena weaseled her way out of this entire podcast.
yeah, she just
Yeah, the
totally
whole
denied
thing.
all responsibility.
Didn't deny nothing.
Yeah, here. Let's go ahead and ask Elena what she's grateful
I
for.
just gotta tell you this. I go to I won't even
Right
say
here.
I go to a lot of meetings anymore because I don't. You can hear me.
Can we?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, she's on that. She's on the
Never
hand.
mind.
She's on her hand mic.
I get the hand mic. I used to go to a lot of meetings every week, and a lot of people ask me all the time, why don't you go to meetings anymore? Why don't you go to I do. I go to 2 meetings a week, and sometimes I go to 3. I go
Yeah.
to my Saturday morning meeting, and I come to this podcast. People think that this is just this is a meeting.
Is this a meeting?
This is one of the best meetings I go to, and every week it's different people. I get to meet different people every week. I do know the 3 people that are here tonight, but I get to meet different people
Right.
every week at this podcast,
Yeah.
and it's a meeting.
Yeah,
So I look forward to Friday nights. Am I tired right now? Yes,
absolutely.
I'm tired.
I'm always tired.
But it happens. It happens.
So what are you grateful for?
Friday.
Yeah.
What am I grateful for? It's flipping Friday.
All right.
I'm
It's flipping
grateful that I
Friday.
can walk outside and breathe because it's not 97
Yikes.
and humid.
Yeah.
So I get to
Smoky.
go outside and do fun stuff and not die.
If you sit in my truck, you might not be able to breathe.
But I will tell you all, it is a really cool truck. I did get to see this truck. It's a very cool truck.
Yeah. Blessed. Definitely blessed.
I will be ordering Rob some hearing aids for when he turns 40.
That might be too late.
Yeah.
Miracle ear.
Right.
Miracle ear.
Right.
He'll
Most
just put
definitely.
them in and then turn it up.
You got 2 more things to be grateful about. What else are you grateful about?
What else am I grateful for?
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was just one thing.
I thought it was just. Oh, I thought it was
Was
3.
it?
Never mind.
Was it
I'm
3
grateful, I'm grateful about recovery. I'm grateful that I'm clean and sober. I'm grateful that I have amazing kids. I'm not grateful that my oldest is moving out in 24 days, but I'm still grateful.
Are you counting those days, huh?
No, she is, and she's reminding me
Every single day.
every single day. She's reminding me that she's moving out.
She's growing up. I love that.
She's so excited to become an adult, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm so excited to not be an adult. Can I go backwards?
Yeah, that's how it works, right?
I'm ready to go backwards. I just keep looking at my bills that I pay, and I'm like, okay, this can stop at any time.
I remember that excitement. Man. I was ready to just fly. It's
I'm
like,
so excited to be an adult, and now I'm like,
take it all back.
same thing Monday through Friday, and then the weekend comes, and for some reason there's only 2 days in the weekend. It would be so nice if our weekends could be Monday through Friday, and then we just work Saturday.
No, because then we would want Saturday and Sunday to be part of that too. So
Yeah.
it wouldn't be enough.
I'm just very grateful that I have my friends in recovery, and I have the people that I can talk to, and the meetings that I do go to, and my amazing sponsor. And it's crazy what I have right now, which isn't much, but I'm okay with that.
Damn right.
I'm absolutely okay with what I have today because it is enough for me.
I like that. I just want to hear you talk. I just want to hear you speak.
It
So.
never used to be, and now it is. Like when I first came in the rooms, I wanted more, and I needed more, and now less is more for me.
Yeah, I hear that. I definitely hear that.
Yeah.
What are you grateful for?
I guess what I'm grateful for is, I'm grateful for just that I actually found recovery and, is able to get my my thoughts and feelings back and learn that enough's enough, and in amidst all the chaos of the world, just sitting still is okay. I'm really grateful right now that, because I've been forced to sit still, and I'm kind of been known for in my day to be a workaholic, and then when I first got sober, I was, I threw myself into recovery like that's all I did all day every day, so I was overdoing that maybe, and I've been able to slow down, and but I'm okay with that. Been able to stay sober through some pretty trying times, and it's been with great friends and great people in recovery that I've gotten there, and just realizing that life is that simple, and it's okay to be that simple.
Right.
Yeah, I like that. Well, I am grateful for a lot of things, man. I'm grateful for, like I said, finding a new way of life, man. We say that a lot, man. But I am I'm glad to not be in that mental bubble that I used to be in. Like, I used to be like just cloudy and didn't really care about anything. The only thing I cared about was myself, which was funny because like I said, I was a people pleaser, man. But like most of the stuff, like it's like, hey, I'm helping this person to help me. It's like, help me, help you, help me. That was my thing, man. I'm glad I don't have to think about do things like that anymore. I'm glad I can when I do sleep, like I can sleep soundly, man. Like I tried my best today, Those are things that I'm grateful for, man. I'm grateful that my family is in town too. And I'm grateful that I had these 5 days off to actually kind of
boom,
relax and keep it kosher. How about you, Rob? You're the last one.
So I am grateful for perseverance, number one. Recovery hasn't been easy. Obviously, it isn't. So anybody out there listening, going through something, just please hang on. You can get through it. Reach out to your support network, because there's without some of the relationships that I've had in my life, I probably wouldn't even be breathing and living. So that would be number two for gratitude, is the relationships that I've formed in this recovery. Because a lot of times, on the worst days of worst, I stay clean just for those relationships. And that's, because on those worst days I speak of, man, that's where I don't want to get up. I don't want to, I just want to go get a gun and put it in my mouth and pull the trigger, and that's not every day. So that's another thing I'm grateful for, is that, there's more good days in my life recently, man. And that's something that I can truly be grateful for. You know what I mean? I had a lot of bad days and, not in a lot of good place, but, thankfully I made it through and I'm still alive, and I'm blessed, I'm blessed. I am truly blessed, So to all the people I have relationships with, I love you and thank you. That's all I got. So, yeah, 11 o'clock. It is time to wrap her up.
You guys always do a buzzer beater. Do any of you have a buzzer beater?
Nope.
We need a buzzer beater.
You do a buzzer beater.
Oh, a buzzer beater. If Tad was here right now, what would you make fun of him?
If Tad was here, I would definitely make fun of him for his mutton chops on his face.
Yeah, it's the mutton chops for me.
Yeah.
Or that he's excited to go to wrestling. I don't know.
No, I hope you had a great time, Tad. You were super excited. I just seen the look on your face. I didn't think you're gonna go, but hey, I'm really glad that you're having a good time out there.
Hell yeah.
We love you,
Peace,
Tad.
brother.
I love you,
And
Tad.
for anybody that is still listening, we love you, and don't forget you are loved. That's something Tim always says. So remember that you are loved, and we really hope that everybody comes back next week, because next week everything will be fixed, because we are going
Absolutely.
to fix this. And we are going to have no issues next week, because I'm going to fix this throughout the week to make everything better. So we hope everybody has a good weekend, and if you are looking for something fun to do, remember that there are a lot of fun things going on this weekend. Just check in the comments and you will find some fun recovery,
Boom.
anything to do. And if not, you can always reach out to anybody in the comments, and I'm sure they'll let you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
See ya.